And just like that, 30 terabyte drives aren't the biggest gig in town. Something we've known about for the last month or so, that Seagate was starting to ship to large hyperscale data centers bigger drives for them to test out and get real world data on. And now at NAB, they started showing off formally the 44 terabyte hard drive. And I ask you, what the hell is going on? I can't get a 2 terabyte SSD for my laptop. Yet right now, 44 terabyte drives are becoming a thing. Part of the Mosaic 4 Plus range from Seagate, so strictly data center. These are 11 platter hard drives with 4 terabytes per platter, which is insane. The areal density alone is phenomenal. Now, straight away, these are not SMR drives. I would have bet dollars to donuts that they would have been SMR, but they're not. They are conventional magnetic recording, CMR or PMR between friends. Now, comparing that against their biggest rival WD, WD recently promoted and talked about their 40 terabyte drives. Maybe at the time of recording this, they've shown something off at NAB. I don't know right now. But up until now, WD has been showing off its 40 terabyte SMR drives, or Ultra SMR. And even then, that was because they were using Energy Assisted Magnetic Recording, or EAMR. Seagate's offering is sticking very much with HAMR, or Heat Assisted Magnetic Recording, in order to maximize the areal density there. Now, Seagate has generally always been the first to the punch on the majority of these bigger capacity drives, so it's not a huge surprise. Also, because it's part of the Mosaic Enterprise class drives, that likely means these are going to be 550 terabyte or TBW workload ratings there. Alongside that, these are almost certainly going to be 7200 RPM. There was no mention of multiple actuators there like the Mac series, but we still don't know what the RAM or the cache, I should say, for these drives is going to be. The target audience for a drive like this is pretty narrow right now, not just in terms of cost, but just sheer capacity. And then on top of that, we've also got to factor in that with these larger drives coming to market, how's that going to impact and knock on with the smaller drives in the market? It's going to be a while before we find out on that. Now, again, almost certainly these aren't going to be any kind of consumer class drive anytime around the corner. And pricing wise, it's going to be through the roof. But given that a year and a half ago, Seagate were talking about on one of their earnings calls with investors that by they were trying to hit by the end of the decade 100 TB drives. And they said by 2028, they were going to be at 50 terabytes. We're in 2026 and they're at 44. I think they're well on course. Bottom line, this is still a drive that's not going to be in anyone's NAS, at least in the bottom corner of a drawer, anytime soon. But it's just phenomenal to think this amount of capacity on a single mechanical SATA drive is going to be a thing. Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks again to Dan over at NAB, who's been helping us out with a lot of the recordings and the info. And apart from that, I'll see you on the next video.